Yeah, this basically just the basic stuff. But yeah. Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, once said, "Too often governments respond to the whispers from lobbyists before the cries of the people." And I think that means something. He's a person with a certain status. He's high in society, so that it must mean something. And we believe that we have to educate the coming generation to prepare for these lobbying groups. And that's why we made a game that can create that general knowledge that is needed for those teenagers.
The story in our game is that you're a lobbyist who wants money and power. It is set in modern day society, and there are no real obstacles that prevent you from completing the game besides gravity. And that's basically it for the story.
Yeah, and the game design is based on infinity jump game like Doodle Jump, and that means that the game never ends. But however, it's difficult to complete it because the objects move faster and faster, and you control it with arrow keys and the space bar. And our plan was to create a game that was easy and relaxing to understand, and you will learn about lobbyism indirectly.
And the audio in our game is carefully picked. It's supposed to be a upbeat music, upbeat electronic music, but not so upbeat that it's confusing. You're supposed to be focused during the game time, but you don't have to be too focused because you only have to react to what's happening in the game. You don't have to take any choice at all.
Yeah, so the art is based again on the simple art that should be classic and elegant and looks nice and neat. And again, we focused on the easy learning, so that's why we have the easy art. And on our main screen, we have the capital of the United States, which indicate power and where the laws are made. And then we have some lights showing down on the capital again to showing that that's a place where the power is taken.
Yes, then there's the code, and we are using the Construct 2 engine, which is a JavaScript and HTML5 based engine, which means that this can run pretty much anything, as long as we build in support for it. The support we are building for it for now is PC support, but Construct 2 is made so it's very easy to build in support for mobile devices, so it can be used by anyone, anytime.
Yes, then there's the market overview. We have chosen to focus on people from the age of 12 to 22 years old because they fit our subject, and it's the most relevant because we wanted to educate the next generation. And it's a common games genre, so a lot of these will probably play, and it's compatible with small time spaces, which means that you can play it at a bus stop or while riding the bus, or at home while waiting for the microwave to heat your food. And it is rated 13 for teens because some of the subjects in our game is meant to be understood by 13 and over. People below that age might not understand the subjects that is covered.
Then there's our experience with developing this game throughout this course. And we all agree on what our experience has been. And it has been a very chaotic experience. We felt like it was more or less thrown down on us from above. And the schedule was very tight. And
now I would like to show a demo of our game. On our main street, we have played a Walmart. So Martin, would you start playing it? Yes. That is our avatar, and you use by using left and right arrows and space bar to jump, and if you play R, you restart the game. And the goal is to get as much money and supporters as possible. So, and when you die, you get a chance to continue. So, would you go to the menu, and the Walmart, and there you can pass bills to different stores. For example, marijuana. You can buy that, and you get the ability to fly higher. Yeah, we only made one of those, but the plan was that we could go to chance to win. And the help, how to play, what the mission is, what controls you're using, and go back again, and the credits. And that's pretty much it.
And we would very much like to let one of you try a game if you're up to that. Yeah? Do any of you want to try a game? No? It's okay. Okay, so any questions?
Where'd you get the name Walmart?
It's from Walmart.
I know.
Yeah, and the logo is too. So we thought now we had here in Texas in the States, Walmart is pretty big, so it would fit pretty well.
Where did you come up with the idea for creating this little contract?
Actually, we thought we would make a nice icebreaker to sort of get into the subject, and this just seems quite funny, I guess. And it represents the concept of lobbyism, more or less. Yeah.
Do you have any plans to add in some kind of pitfalls in lobbying? So like when you're jumping around, you get money, but it will be something that takes away your money when you hit it.
Yeah. Actually, we have planned to add some people to the capitalist or so that you could jump into, and they would more like give you damage in somehow. We haven't figured out how, but the plan was that we would add something on the platforms that you should avoid.
Also, these enemies that we have been thinking about adding could be people demonstrating against your lobbying group, or it could be politicians who doesn't agree with you. And then you could lose some money and some supporters, so you have to move your way up again.
So your purpose is to educate people about lobbyism, and the
Yes.
game's, it looks fun, and I'm sure it's fun to play, but how are you going to bring it back to that serious game intent of educating? Like, how are you planning on putting more of the education aspect into the gameplay that you have right now?
The way we want to add lobbyism into this game was to make a fun game that is themed around lobbyism. So it's not a direct form of learning, it's more indirect. So this Walmart that we have is a place where you can buy these laws. So we were, the plan was to add real scenarios into this game and show you that just with money and some power, you can actually have a huge influence on society and thereby get these abilities. So that's how we want to incorporate lobbyism into a very simple and entertaining game.
I have a question. Was the freemium model of laws intentional or accidental?
Sorry?
The freemium, where you would, so the freemium model in video games is you buy little power-ups for your character, so you had to buy a power-up through a law. Was that an intentional decision to play on that?
Yeah, it was an intentional decision, yeah. We don't know, we haven't heard of that concept, but it was intentional to let you buy these abilities so you can go even higher in the game.
So it's not really a question, but I would like both of y'all made me think about it. It would be interesting if you could buy different power-ups and you get your score up and stuff like that and be posted online, and you know you could compete with everybody else, and if you paid more money you get more power-ups and get a higher score, and so then you'd get like, you know, you cheat the system. So that would really, I think, hone the whole
That would be-
lobbyism idea.
That would be profitable for you too.
Well, you know, one of the reasons I don't have a whole lot of questions is because it seems like a very simple concept as far as a game, but it really is illustrating the fact that these guys collect money and then they buy that influence. So I mean, it's very simple, compact, and brilliant in those ways, because a lot of serious games are just not entertaining at all. So I could totally see somebody playing that over and over and over again, simply because, I mean, the mechanic of having to go on a, an infinite jumper or whatever you want to call it, something that people really like. So having the law and the lobbying and watching where the money goes, I think it would be very, very beneficial, so that kids can actually understand the concept of lobbying. Because it's not really taught in our schools. So it's the one thing that drives our laws and our government, but it's not taught. So good job.
Thank you very much.
And also, one last comment on the laws themselves. I mean, you started off with legalizing marijuana, and pretty much every 16 to 22-year-old is going to go yes. So one of, if you think about this, one of the things to do is it's easy to start off with laws that should be passed, and then it gets harder and harder for them to buy things that you're like, well, I don't want to buy that, but those are the only options left. I think it'd just be very interesting to put some of the nastier things up there, by a law that repeals national forests, protecting national forests, which they did in a couple of states here. So that would be, a really interesting thing for the students to see, like, someone's buying that? That's terrible.
Make that one cheap too. It's easier to save. Whatever they want, they have to save up.
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for your questions. I'll just gather these contracts again. And remember, yeah, it's not a bribe, it's just lobbyism. Yeah.
ALEC, A-L-E-C, which is a giant lobbying group. They spend tons of money, and they take all these guys to. There's a video that actually shows quite a bit of it. It's really fascinating. It's also something
Yeah, will do.